Hi, everyone. I'm Carrie Cassidy from Project Camelot and very happy to be here today. So, I have a fascinating guest, and he's back for part two, and this is Cyrus Parsa. So, I'm just going to let him actually give his own brief introduction, and the actual introduction is on part one. So, just to be aware. And so, Cyrus, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Carrie. I guess I gave an introduction last time, so maybe I'll make it a lot shorter. I founded the organization with the hope and wish to safeguard us from the misuse of artificial intelligence, um, biometrics, bioengineering, cybernetics, 5G, and of course, elements that relate to China's government and our big tech. And not just surveillance, but things such as what I call microbiotic terrorism, which not only deals with micro drones and nanoparticles that could be weaponized in different ways, but also viruses, engineered viruses, which I call the biodisease that came from China. I published my book. The first book I published was AI Trump China and the Weaponization Robotics of 5G. I embedded most of that book because it was so important. Shows everything that's happening today into this second book, which is called Artificial Intelligence Danger to Humanity, which actually foresaw the lockdown, the virus coming from China, the drones, and to the next stage that's going to happen if we don't make a really big change. And I've been working almost 20 hours a day, 7 days a week on these things. I even filed a lawsuit and then an amendment with big players. Disclosing that the world was in danger from China and its interrelation with big tech starting December 16th because nobody would retweet me, no mainstream would pick me up, and everyone were ignoring me. And I'm trying to say your lives are in danger. The whole world's in danger. And still today, it's still hard to get support. It's not until when people reach the last minute and they see it's over do they kind of think, oh yeah, maybe something's up here. So I thank you for having me on your show and the other people who've had me on the show to say my piece. And I have some solutions. But I put out a video because for about 8 months I wanted to put it out. I had bought some images for it, and I didn't want to put it out until it was the right time. And you can take it as a movie or you can take it as fact or somewhere in between. Posted a few days ago. We're late because of me, mainly because there are people who are trying to monetize off it. They turn on monetization, which means that the video shows ads. I didn't want to make any money off it. I actually spend my own money, everything I had on everything I've been doing, even my assets. I sold my classical paintings. Everything I've been doing is for trying to be altruistic. So a couple of them, I bought all the licenses for the parts for the video, and it's called AI. The plan to invade humanity. And you were going to ask a question, which you didn't ask, but I read your thoughts, and you're going to talk about aliens and if it's an invasion. So I said this in December on the Alex Jones show, on the Owen Short, but I gave a story, and he picked it up after a couple of months, after me being on 4 or 5 shows. Then he says, "Oh, there's an alien invasion," and he starts saying it. And other people start picking it up. But I initially, I've known things for months, but I'm not saying there's an alien invasion. All I'm saying is that I did a video on that. And I had an experience when I sued Google. So this video is about 58 minutes and interconnects everything. And it's an extract from the book Artificial Intelligence Danger to Humanity. I recommend everyone watch it. I'm trying to get the monetization off, so there's no commercials or advertisements. I do need support back. Please donate like you watched a movie. If you liked it, please donate like you watched a movie. We need the support. I need the support. So I want to talk to you about my experience with. I have a lot of experience actually, but I want to talk about only one of them. So should I have you have a chance for you to interject, or should I start with my experiences and what I see?
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So, just like everyone else, we've dealt with movies and the concepts of aliens and different things. So I have a lot of experiences with seeing and sensing different things. But in terms of this one movie, let's say Aliens, right? And I picked uh, something that looks like a grayish alien. So in 2004, I was shown classified, well, they're classified materials, but they belong to the person who got almost $40 million for his observatory. So he was able to show to me and someone else, and he said that no one beside me and the other person had seen it. Only the highest levels in the military, and the person actually gave a lot of the technology that he created to help the military create, not just fighter jets, but things that don't use, that can break through time a little bit, almost like a spaceship. So I don't want to get into it, because if I get too deep into it, then someone can figure out who it was. But what I was shown was the person's over 20, 30 years of using his command center. And back then, the 70s and 80s, and even before that, if you have $30-40 million that you've put onto for your equipment to see these things and observe and get information to NASA and the military, that's a lot of money. So he showed me a lot of images, quite a bit actually, a lot. And every image that I had shown to me were just of spacecrafts. But what was interesting, his images that he had got, the technology he had used were almost like close-ups. So he showed within each different spaceship that he had images of, that you could see the type of person inside it. He showed what they look like. So some of them actually didn't have a physical form. He called them holograms. He said that their bodies had a digital force. So it wasn't made out of like physical flesh. It's like they were like a digital image, digital being, but they were operating their own craft, and they were coming into our space. And they would use some kind of technology that makes them disappear and come back in under a second. It's so fast that a human brain can't see it. That was one of the things he showed me. The other one he showed, it looked like a human being, and it had the same type of form, but it wasn't human like us. Other ones he showed me that they look like what you see in the Greys and these what I put in the actual movie, AI, the plan to invade humanity. And they look like that. They look like little ET fellows. Most of them actually look like that. The majority of them. So I don't recall if it was like 30 or 40 images that I saw, but they were not made up. This was the year 2000. The latest it was 4, but I'm pretty sure it was 2003, the latter part of it. And I saw it in the East Coast, in somebody's home. So for me, I believe it 100%. I always believed that they, in the hundreds and trillions of universe, we're not alone. Of course. Did I get moved by it? Did I get really interested by it? Not really. I'm not really interested in aliens or other beings from other planets, because I don't know. We're here, and if they're interested in us, maybe we're more special than they are, if you think about it. So maybe you have a question to that. I don't know.
At any rate, I was wondering if you can explain, when you were a kid, your interactions with various beings, and you grew up in Iran.
Well, up until 9 years old, I never had interaction with various beings, but I had certain abilities. I could look at a person's face, I could read what kind of person they are or thoughts. I just kept it myself. I thought it was normal. But I remember, it's an interesting part. My mother remembers this. And there was an old lady that came in, and she was going to watch me. I'd never seen her before. And I was maybe, I don't know, almost a year old, a year and a half maybe. I couldn't really walk, I don't think. And when it came in, I thought that it wanted to kill me, whatever was, something. And I wanted to tell I couldn't talk, I remember, so I was a lot younger. I was like 6 months. I wanted to tell my mom, don't leave me with that person. My life will be in danger. And I couldn't speak. And then she left me. And next thing I know, this old lady, who's about 70 years old, takes a little piece of candy and starts to shove it in my mouth. And I wouldn't open my mouth. She shoved it in there. Oh, little kid, and gave me a candy. So next thing I know, I can't breathe, and I'm, this room's almost going black. And my mother had forgotten something. She comes back. Oh my God, my kid! Turns around and holds me from my feet and is going like this. And I finally cough out, and then she's screaming at the lady, What are you doing? Oh, I don't know. I was just giving the kid a candy. So at that moment, I had certain senses, like they weren't very honed, but like it's just an old lady. But for some reason, I felt deep in my gut it wants to kill me. Something's going to happen that's going to cause me to die. Does that make sense? I'm not saying the old lady was some kind of witch or something. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm trying to say is I sensed danger, and I sensed something was going to happen. And I couldn't even speak, and I didn't have language, but I had, you understand, right? Baby actually has thoughts and feelings.
No.
Yes.
So, okay, so you had that experience. You also had another experience in Iran when you were younger that you talked about on our last show. But to fast forward, in your teens, because you've told us that you're actually in contact with somebody from what appears to be the secret government or whatever you want to call it, and they're...
In my teens, I was just playing football, basketball, tennis, doing some martial arts, playing video games. That was mainly my teens. Okay. Watching movies but also.
And what about being regressed? Did you feel, did you ever have mysterious missing time where you wanted to be regressed?
What do you mean by the word regressed?
Well, you go see a therapist, and they can put you into an altered state through hypnosis, and you basically revisit experiences where you are confused about what really happened.
No, I've never been to a therapist. I've never been confused about anything, actually. I remember even from when I was maybe a month old or 2 months old, I remember things like I had an awareness as almost a little baby. I could even retract things to my parents. I'm like, how the hell do you know that? We must have told you a story. I'm like, no, I remember. So babies actually have a consciousness. It's just for those neural networks to connect, and then they form deep learning, and then it starts walking and talking and so on. There's a process, but there's a way to extract that information because it's actually in your cells. Everything you've ever seen, everything you ever touch is in your brain. So if you know how to do it, you can connect your neural networks to it, and then you can extract that information and make a digital image. So there are some people who experience some things using technology. People who had died, and they'll look into their skull, they'll look into their brain, and then they'll try to figure out what they experience in their lives. And there's technology for that, right? So even if the person's not aware of certain things, you can extract that information from their brain. But there are some people who are really skilled at this. Let's say if someone has a really powerful brain and you want to take them out so you can study their brain, they have mechanisms built in that will shut off those areas, and all the data that was in the brain will be taken out. And no matter how you want to use that information, try to study a person's brain to model it after some computer or create something special, you couldn't do that because those neural networks will completely close up and extract that information.
Let's talk about you though specifically. In other words, are you aware of working with a certain alien race and or even an alien AI, for example? Because you have a great deal of knowledge and you have almost a kind of an artificial intelligence about artificial intelligence, if you will. So I'm wondering, where did that come from? Where do you think it comes from?
It's been a long time to describe how it works. I saw some comments like people calling me Cyrus is AI or he's Q or whatever. I didn't know what Q was at that time, or some other stuff they were saying. They were just like, I'm just a person like you and I. I just went through so many things in my life, and then the martial arts, the training, and then the disciplines I did the past 20 years that opened up a lot of areas of my brain. So if I sit in a full lotus, I can open up the majority of my brain, almost all of it. and the channel in my body. And that time, it's like it becomes an artificial super intelligence almost. So that means you can outthink and outsmart and and AIs that are being controlled by things, which I did a movie about, right? So because they're not made in the image of us, and according to all the ancient faiths and all the books, we are made in the image of a higher power, a creator. They use machines. They're not that smart. They're not that wise. They're very, very clever. Don't get me wrong. They're very smart, actually. But they're not wise. They wouldn't be doing these things if they could see what's above them.
Yeah,
Because
well,
everything has
that's
place.
also, that may be true of the sort of powers that be, so to speak, but they're backed by aliens as well, as you know. So what I'm trying to get at, though, is actually when you go into full lotus and you're accessing most of your brain, have you got any idea if you are linked up with your own AI network and or an alien race that has an AI network? Because that's what I'm getting. And so I'm wondering whether you have gone into that area to kind of see yourself from, I don't know, outside yourself, if you will. Or is that just not?
Yeah, that's not something. A lot of people do that, but that's different. There's something that's the subconscious. Like so, in our bodies, there's the consciousness and subconscious and unconsciousness. People don't know what that really means because we have multiple digital layers and digital images of us, and there's a main consciousness. A lot of people who have their abilities, the pineal gland, other stuff is open, doesn't come from them. It comes from the subconscious. Because subconscious is not really them, it's something else. Or it comes from other frequencies that connect to the brain, that open up areas in the brain so they can see. It doesn't come from their actual work and their actual discipline they put themselves in. It's something that's siphoning off their channels in their brain, their body, and it's actually siphoning energy from them. So that's why in the ancient faiths like Christianity, other stuff, they say don't delve into these things because you can go a demonic way. Because you would connect to things, you would connect to something that you would see an image of maybe of Jesus, and you would think that's Jesus, but it's not. It's something that's creating a digital image, a spirit or a digital image or a demon that would think, and you would follow that, and then you
Okay,
would
are
get in
you
trouble.
aware of
Or it
something
could be
called the information field? That's what scientists call it, that surrounds us. This idea, another way you might look at it is by Jung, the philosopher who talked about the universal mind. In other words, that we're all linked up, then all you have to do is the field exists all around us, and all you have to do is reach out to the field and access certain information. So that's another thing going on.
That's how I do it. That's how I do it. Yes, but well, so you asked me how I got all this information. It was threefold. One was literally having my background, having these Homeland Security degrees. How was I ahead of the Secret Service, CIA, FBI? Right? How did I know all these things when billions of dollars invested? They couldn't know these ahead of time, almost to the point. Right? I was even with everything I did, it shows that I knew things. Right? So I had help. It wasn't just me. But so one is that, and then two is the real actual investigation. I investigate these companies, right? And the third is yes. So Elon Musk wants to connect, a neural lace because he doesn't know how to access the digital layer, so he can connect to the internet. But what he'll connect is maybe 5G, which is really nothing because there's as you see in my video, AI, the plan to invade humanity, it's 5G, 6G, 7G, 8G, 9G, 10G. I mean, it'll go millions of G's if you think about it. It's like whatever your level of it gets to, however much of your channels in your body you'll open up and different levels you can get to, that's where you can see. So in different practices, so there's the Tibetans, right? They have certain thoughts. And then the Christianity, they believe in Christ consciousness. And in the Falun Dafa, they believe that, there's like they have a Buddhist and Taoist thinking. So they believe that there's so many levels. Every level you get into, there's truths, and then you get to a higher level, there's another truth, because it's just different levels of being seen, the manifestations of it. But they believe that whatever level you are, there is actually one truth that can describe all levels, and that's Chen Shanren, truthfulness, benevolence, forbearance. And then you go to to other Buddhist practices, and then you go to the Zoroastrians, and they believe the supreme creator created everything, and then there's three words: good thoughts, good words, and good deeds. And then there's all these different little gods below them. So the Greeks had all the concept of the gods, right? But if you look in the Torah, and if you look at in the Old Testament, they talk about gods. After the New Testament came out, they took out the word "s," and they just made it God. And same with this, so all the Judeo-Christian, like the Muslims, all say the same thing. What they fail to understand is that gods means you belong to God. So if there's millions of angels, they could be considered gods.
Well, there's
And
also
it's
gods in the Bible actually refers to the Anunnaki, who actually were much more involved in writing the Bible. God didn't write the Bible, Anunnaki did. And the Anunnaki are a certain race of beings that have a lot of human proclivities, like anger, vindictiveness, etc. And they wanted to be thought of as gods. But aside from all of that, what I want to do is delve into what you know. So what I want to get into here is I want to talk about the development of the financial system, this lockdown, and how it connects to the AI, to creating and manifesting the AI in a greater way, and how the financial, the digital currency may or may not reflect that, and where we're going with all of that. So, in other words, can we focus also on the finance and your understanding of how artificial intelligence is weighing in on that?
So if you read my book, Artificial Intelligence, Age of Humanity, it shows like there's a digital ID. Then it goes to finance, all these different things. So once you take out the gold and you the money's backed, you just get funded by the government. You get funded by all these loans, and everything becomes digitalized. And you have drones come in and machines come in, and then you have the virus. It's a real virus. It's not a fake virus. It's a real virus. As I said, it's an AI engineered virus. So this is the whole system. It's an old plan that was put in by different levels. So although I put the invasion by the aliens, there's something higher beyond them that controls them. Okay, very, 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 very high. And that manipulates every single person on the planet like they were mice. In a matter of a second, a thought can be done, and every 7 billion people can be moved a certain way. That's actually how it normally is. And people think they're just running like everything that's happening today, from Pelosi attacking, you're watching the news, this happens, then you follow, then you tweet. It's all a play. And I don't want to get too deep because I would get in trouble if I explain too much. So all I got to say, but there's something we can do about it. There is the concept of free will and the whole concept of good and evil, and wishing to either not exist or wishing to really exist, but to fulfill not only a vow, but to reach awakening or enlightenment or return to Christ, or however your wish is, but to be good. So I try to explain this in our past episode, that what's happening today has a lot to do with China. What's happening to every person in the world is because they allowed these technology to go to China, contributed to tens of millions of people dying for their organs, hundreds of millions of people being persecuted, and everybody is silent. And then they bought made in China, and they made themselves rich in this country, and our culture became decadent, and human beings are made in a higher image, so there's a certain standard. There's humans and there's animals, right? So if we drop down and if what the Greeks said and the Persians said and the Jews said and the Indians said and the Chinese and Japanese said about past civilization and why it was destroyed, and there's things at a higher level that sees everything, decides to destroy everybody in stages at some point. Well,
okay,
that's the point.
I think
so
we're getting a little bit sort of off in a lot of different directions. So just want to bring this back to sort of some nuts and bolts here, because people are very concerned with what the next steps are going to be, and the idea that this so-called virus that you are saying is you're saying it was engineered by AI, when I like to know how an AI engineers a virus and then puts it into humans. So we can talk about that as well. But I also want to connect it
So
again to digital currency and why it is you feel that we will not be rolling out digital currency, because most people are convinced this is the agenda.
it is the agenda, but these leftist people or the people you guys don't like, they don't see it that way. They just see it as a positive thing to do. They don't have in their consciousness an evil thought to make mark everybody. It's not how they think. Most of them, I'm saying, not everybody, right? Most of them. So yes, the agenda is that it's the old system that was planned for a long time. It's in the writings from in every ancient place. What I was trying to allude to was coming back to this, because I'm trying to explain the entire thing, then narrow it down to what your really question is, which is what's going to happen. So it has to do with our choice, because there's so many elements. It's not just the political. It's not just the left and right. It's not just our morality and our ethics. It's not just what we have done and we have to repent for, and there's cause and effect. It's not just free will. It's not just the AI people. It's also a design above that. There's trillions of things that are interplaying with every person on the planet, and it's moving in a mechanism. So you can call it an AI. Well, at one level, it's an AI, but above that, it's not an AI. Does that
Yeah,
make?
I
And
mean,
above that
look,
is
I
nothing
understand
else.
that, the hierarchy and so forth, and gets onto spiritual levels, etc., and it can be talked about in, a number of books, including Ashiana Dean's, Voyager books. But what I want to actually focus on again, it would be, first of all, you stated that the AI created the virus. So how did the AI create the virus, and how did it get it into
All right. So
humanity?
it was created by humans by using AI, artificial intelligence, and the different elements that they use to engineer this virus. Okay, but if you look in my video that I put about biodigital social programming, right? There's three levels of how AI was used by a higher level to create this. Okay, I would take me hours to explain, but just to specify it, so you can manipulate somebody's mind and actually re-hardwire their neural networks in their brain through a quantum technology by opening a biodigital field that attaches to the electrical field of a person, that connects their neural networks in their brain while they're sleeping or even while they're awake and they don't realize it, and literally put a thought in their head or reprogram them. They'll just go and then finish up the virus, and this happens. Something so average
Okay. Are
person
you
does.
are you aware of the Chinese woman? Are you aware of Fort Detrick and going to the North Carolina lab, and the woman that then, I forget her name, she went to the Wuhan lab? Are you aware it's financed by Soros and Gates, and that Fauci is also involved? Are you aware that she went and got bat DNA and added that to the mixture? So, and then at what
I
point
did sue George Soros, right? If you look at the list of people, before you guys found out this, I did sue George Soros, right? So, but there's so many people involved. It's not just one person.
of course,
It,
but
it's an interconnected
okay,
thing.
but
Like
I'm
I said,
still talking about the virus. So before we
yes, I
jump
am
off
Sue.
into another area, let's focus a little bit on the AI and how they did get bat DNA. Okay, you're aware of that, right? So where did they put the artificial element in, and also how does it go from one human to another, because it is not contagious, okay, as in the conventional sense of that word. So in other words, what you're really talking about is an AI that is in the virus that is then jumping from human to human. Is this what you're trying to talk about?
Uh, that was the second. The first was how AI was used to create this virus, by manipulating people in interconnected
Okay, so
ways. That
they're going,
are
an AI is going through the person's neural network. Is that what you're saying, and connecting with them?
Yes, but then that you would say that's crazy. But then if you look at my video, there's millions of inner meanings in that video, millions. And if you look, if the first minute has something to do with minute 46, the first second, everywhere it just interconnects. And it was really hard for me to do. Even my voice, there was so much pressure on me. But uh, basically, let me answer your question. This was planned and designed for this to happen, not by human beings, but it's caused by human beings because of what we've done. And if we were a righteous world and righteous people, and if we didn't do these, in a society, if society didn't get the way it was,
Okay,
and
that's
these
a
things didn't happen.
philosophy. That's not a determinant. In other words, what I guess what I'm trying to do is narrow this down. I mean, Cyrus, you have a brilliant mind, and I appreciate that. You're thinking on a lot of levels simultaneously, but for the purposes of this interview, it will be good if you can narrow it down enough to say, okay, if the AI is being orchestrated from a higher level, is that a level of ETs that are orchestrating the AI, or you think it's some unseen presences that have come from a higher level? I don't see it as, in other words, you're trying to
Oh,
see it as some kind of vindictive God that's, unleashing a virus on humanity because they're bad. Don't go down that road with me because that's nonsense, okay? So where are you, where is your understanding of how the AI is being influenced by a higher level? Group,
well,
what race of
I'm
beings
not
is
talking.
influencing that particular AI to then influence
Right.
the humans? Because I have no trouble believing that humans can be influenced through their neural networks, through connectivity with, Internet of Things, etc. But if you want to go from a higher level, what group is influencing the AI to then release a virus that, and how are they getting it into humans? Are you aware of the original origins of this?
Okay, so there's certain things everyone can accept, right? So the things that you and I are talking about, the level of, let's say, aliens, AI, most people would in the world would say we have mental sickness. They want to put us in psychiatry, or they would call us crazy. Just the level we're talking about. The majority of society would do that because
Well,
their brains
that's
can
what
only
my
take so
channel
much.
deals with, and
But
my audience
yes,
are totally comfortable with that notion.
yes, yes. So, but if I said something else, which I just did, and you said that's crazy, and there is no vindictive. I'm not using the word vindictive, but there are levels. So every person can accept so much. So people don't have, they can only believe in just what part they can believe, right? So I'm not saying there's vindictive. I'm saying there's a cause and effect of everything, right? So if I point out every solution for you, there's going to be other stuff that's going to happen, because what I'm trying to say, there's a reason for all these things that are happening. Okay, like I said, why are these ATs even allowed to exist? Why have they been allowed to even interfere with certain things if we're more special than they are? So that I'm trying to provide solutions, and without going deep into it because it's hard for people to accept. But yes, there are competing ETs. There are multiple of them going everywhere, and they use a quantum machine that people can't see, and they don't have emotions like we do. They use technology, and what they want to do is have a human body like us, because our human body is very special. We can open up the 10,000 energy lines in our body and
Okay,
do
so what
incredible
you're
things.
talking about is the grays.
Well, in that video, I talked about what you guys call the grays, right? I haven't really done any studies on aliens, actually.
Yes,
I've
but that's
never
what
read
you're
a book on aliens,
describing,
watched.
and we're already very familiar with that process. So you
You,
don't have to
okay.
start at the beginning. People understand the agenda of the grays and how they operate, for the most part. And of course, there are multiple gray races, but you're suggesting that this AI is orchestrated by a certain gray race, and that gray race has decided to visit a virus upon humanity. Do you know how they got it to spread?
Um, yeah, obviously, you mean how it jumps to one person to
Yes.
another person, right? So when you have plagues or a virus, like in the past, it'll mutate. It'll become so potent that it can mutate based on touch or breath or so many different things. Some people will be immune to it. Some people, it'll actually target them, literally, because behind a virus, if you can actually zoom into it on a microscopic level, you'll see there's an image behind the virus. It actually can produce an image, a digital image. So you'll know who created it and what it was created for. So scientists can only see at the level of what they're at, what the tools see. But if you go more microscopic, you'll see, wow, that virus has an image. And then you look deep into it, and you'll see, wow, it was created based on this and this, and this is how it mutates. But human beings with the technology, they can't touch that. That's why at this moment they can't create a cure for it, and creating a vaccine will probably won't work because the way that virus is designed, it mutates in very, very special ways. But there's a solution for this, and it's not, in my opinion. If I say this, maybe your channel will be taken down or something. So I don't want to say it. Maybe in the future, but there is a solution. And yes, if there is that higher power that wants to take people out, it is kind of vindictive. But I'm not saying it's a good decision. What I'm saying is it's using the universal laws of the past that this plane and we're reached a certain point that we're not good enough, and all these things are happening, pedophilia, human trafficking, sex trafficking. But what I said in the video, the creator has another plan, right? The creator has another plan. And all we need to do, so three things, is repent, completely expose and destroy this communist regime, because behind the communist regime is a digital field. And behind the digital field is a red dragon. In addition, it has minions, and those minions are these little AIs. Get it? But that's why when I say go after the Communist Party, people don't get it. Oh, you're political. But no, there is a field behind everything. There's actually a network behind everything. That's why we need to expose the communist regime. Because when you expose it and you have the whole world pointing at it, it'll start busting from inside. And then those little AI systems that are behind it, they'll start dissipating. When I put out this video, it hasn't got that many views, but it actually exposes things. So when I hit that lawsuit, what happened to me? As soon as I was sitting at home, I'd never experienced an alien before, like the ones you guys talk about, that they look like this, right? But as I was sitting down, I felt like things coming to my digital field. And boom, 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 they're trying to break through. I looked, and they were this big. Maybe you guys can explain this to me because I don't study aliens, right? And they were this big, and they were hitting my shield, and they finally broke through my chest. I start coughing, and then boom, bleeding out of my nose, and I bled for 3 weeks. And this was right the day after the day I ran the lawsuit on December 16th against Google and all these things. And they're about this big, and the color was this, not the color of white people, but the color of sheet white. That was their color, and they had no hair, no body hair. I think it was just dark eyes, but everything was white, and they're only about this big. And I said this on Red Pill 78, I think 2 months ago, and I said on Alex Jones, but on Owen Shore months prior to that, or I don't recall. And I said, take it as a story. Let's say I knew this and this, and I went to the White House, and I said this because I could knew this was happening here and here. Then I did this, and I ran the lawsuit, and ran a lawsuit. They came after me. Their whole plan was exposed, and it was a blow to the digital like field surrounding the entire like planet, because there is something which I call the AI, Global Biodigital Network, which has many levels. So they're very smart, and they move very fast. And Red Pill asked me 7 days, like, Cyrus, how do you know it wasn't something from the government that they're using like a machine to attack you with? My government's not attacking me. I'm not against our government. Our government's great. They were actually digital life forms. So, I'll give you an experience. In 2002, I was sitting down, and something happened. Next thing I know, I'm out of my body, and I'm flying. And it's the first experience I had that was out of my body when I'm awake. And as I'm flying, I can hear my body, and it sounds like electricity. Bzz, bzz, bzz. And as I'm flying, and wait, what if I'm dreaming? Let me look at myself. I look at myself, it looks like me. But then I can't fly past the room. I'm just hitting against the wall. I didn't get it that time, right? Turn back, and I see myself sitting there. And I see myself, I'm like, wait a second, that's me over there. Okay, I just had an out-of-body experience. I'm like, let me get back in there because I feel it was not right. I flew back. As soon as I flew back, I almost ran out of breath. So that means I shouldn't do these kind of things. Maybe I was going to die. So that was what, 18 years ago in 2002. It was not a good experience, right? But that was proof to me that our souls or spirits are in a digital or electrical form, but there's other things that are connected to it. So when these little things attacked me, they were this big and they were like electrical forms, but they weren't as powerful as me or the people. Their images and the electrical forms were, well, there was a lot of them, a lot. Well, they're only this freaking big. So, and I've had experiences with so many different things, not just them, okay? So many things, like a lot. When I did these lawsuits and put out these books, so many things came after me, a lot, because they knew what I was trying to do. And there is a cause and effect. There is a code in the universe for morality and ethics. And there's a code for every human being. But it can't be shown to them. It has to go from their free will. So when you steal, when you do bad things, when you attack people, even a moral code, like the old traditional sense as the ancient faiths had. When people break these things, it actually causes bad things to happen throughout the entire world to themselves, other things. Society starts to break down. So these ancient people were not stupid. You know, people think, scientists look at them and say, oh, the Christians, the Tibetans, and the Zoroastrians, and all these, the Jews and the Chinese, they say they're stupid, and these, you know, the concept of morals was stupid. But they've had thousands of years of living. And, you know, they'd say something, and everyone believed it, and they knew what was wrong and bad. But today in scientists, you can't say that thing. You have to connect 1,000 pieces together and then call it, and you're like, yeah, it's not good. So the thinking has changed. And this is why, because you had people like 70 years ago trying to force somebody to be their religion, and they will make certain claims that wouldn't be true. And then turn to science. Well, these guys are making all these claims, and you know, they're just talking out of the behind, and they have no proof, and it's caused like murder or death or this kind of stuff, and we need to have built-in science. But science went to an extreme as well. It doesn't believe what it can't comprehend or see. Automatically fights the person or rejects it. So my video said that the creator has another plan. So then there is a solution, and all we have to do is expose the communist regime, and the big tech is connected to the Communist Party. By exposing it, we also need to better ourselves and also repent.
Okay,
You know, everybody has.
if I understand it, you believe that most of the AI is coming from the so-called communist side, and in essence, that sounds like it's stemming from the gray ETs, that it was brought to Earth perhaps by this group or somehow infiltrated into human consciousness through primarily the communists. However, there's a very clear lineage of human abductions around the world, as you may know.
No, I don't mean the Communist Party. You didn't get what I meant. Okay. What I'm trying to say is the way they can break into a person is severing their connection with the concept of God or a higher power.
Okay.
Because they lose protection. Because communism, atheism separates yourself from the belief that you are special, or that there is a heaven or enlightenment or awakening or a God. When that happens, a form like this ET can parasite you very easily. And you can call them demons, you can call them Satan, or you can call them another life form, or artificial intelligence, artificial intelligence is a tool that they use, but they can transform themselves within the AI systems as well. So AI can be AI, just a tool, or it can be an AI that's actually an AI. It's so many concepts,
Okay.
so many different.
I appreciate that. Now, can you talk? I understand, and I believe that people listening will understand. But I wonder if you can talk about how the financial takedown, because you know what they did was they locked people in their houses, and they stopped people making money, so they could not earn a living. So now the economies around the world are going to have a great deal of trouble getting back on track once they lift this ban.
Yes.
And the idea is that some people believe it's because we're going to a digital currency. Now, is it What is your understanding of that?
Yes, that is the old plan, but I
So
said the
you don't
creator
think,
has
okay,
another
but
plan.
rather than use,
Right?
like a lofty phrase that could apply to everything, let's narrow it down to something of a financial discussion. So
So
why won't
let
the
me explain
digital,
that with this.
the rollout of digital currency and the takedown of the financial system that is well underway, you think this will not succeed? Is that what you're trying to say?
It could so everything is forming based on our thoughts, our belief in what we've done, and the collective, but also the different levels and the AIs and so many different things, right? So when something gets set in motion, for instance, I knew this other stuff was going to come down, right? But I worked so much, I tried to get people to help me, and for 7, 8, 9 months, and they were just plagiarizing my work and they wouldn't run me. And you ran me, but this was after the fact. It's mostly too late, but we can do different things. It's an uphill battle now, right? But what force was I fighting with to try to get these out for so many months, and trying to get patriots or other people who understand these things to help me in different platforms? So right now we're talking about an ET platform. Another platform I'm talking about just robotics. Da, 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 da. So you want to have a financial platform? Fine. So the moment, so I'll narrow it down. You can go to a digital currency, right? And at the end result, it will be the creator has not a plan, so it's going to win. But in the interim, it could hurt a lot of people. So in order to prevent all these things, including a digital currency, okay, I'm giving you a solution. I have to describe the solution, but I'm just in general. Repent, expose the Communist Party, eliminate that. Once that digital field disappears, then you don't need this digital currency. But then you have the virus, right? So the virus is real and it mutates. So if Trump lets people out, and then a month later we have 100,000 people who die, then they're gonna blame him. If Trump doesn't let people out, finance crash, drones come in, machines come in, people get surveilled, people get enslaved, then the power of these AIs become exponentially more. Either way, the creator has another plan, but we have our journey. We have our free will. We have what we can believe and accept. Some people at the beginning of this interview may have not liked what I said and hated me and wrote a back comment. And then now they're like, let me think about it. I think he means what I believe the same. He just said it a different way. Okay, they maybe want to go delete that, or maybe they want to keep a. I'm not sure what it is. People emotionally react to something, and boom, they throw something out. But my point is, there's so many things involved. There's Christians; they're trying to have Jesus save them at the moment. Then there's the Muslims, and there's the Buddhists, and then there's the science people trying to find a vaccine. None of this stuff is going to work, because prayer will not work when something's been decided at higher levels because of certain things. We think everything is natural in this world. There's nothing natural about anything. Everything is a design, a cause and effect within a destiny that has us inside with free will. If we all our free will is completely altered, we become better people, become virtuous, and put down our vice and expose the Communist Party, then this digital field breaks. The digital field is not from the Communist Party. It was in Silicon Valley first, okay? It was in the West. It's been here for a long time. It was here before, many centuries as well. But it came here in strong, like, force in the early 20th century and the late 19th century. Strong force. It changed our entire society with all this machinery, and we start getting invaded from a different time space. If you watch my video, one day they go, one day come back, and it's 2 days, it's 100 years here, but it's 2 days for them because they use a quantum machine. So they can literally alter the course of our history because they want to colonize, but they're dumb themselves because they don't see the higher level. They think they're so smart they can literally use a quantum machine to manipulate the entire world, but there's something above them that's coming for them, and it's been taking them out left and right. And I put that in the video, that the creator has another plan and has been sweeping them away. It shows a video of a planet being destroyed. It shows them being caught. And so it's not your job to do anything about this, Carrie, because you don't have a power to literally physically take down a spaceship and the people inside them. You can only bring this information by having me on your platform, then other people can be awakened to it. And then our collective minds, if we can improve our virtue, then our power will increase. Human brains only use 3 or 4% of their brain power, generally because they have 5 or 6 things that they like to do at that level, which is really close to animals. But we are noble to big creations to begin with. We're supposed to be holy. What are most people attached to? Sit home, watch TV, have sex, eat food, socialize the same things for 100 years or 30 years, 1,000 years. They never get to the higher levels. But how can you get to that? You have to have a wish to achieve enlightenment. At the higher levels, they don't have our thoughts. They don't do what we do here. They don't do what we do here.
So what I want to say
you get what I'm saying?
is
Yes.
and I appreciate all of that, Cyrus. Thank you. But the thing is that if we're in this situation and you think either way that the virus, the proliferation of this, what you're calling a communist state of mind, etc., is the problem. And then, in essence, what it sounds like is you're advocating war with China. Is that correct?
No, not at all. What I said was they were exposed the Communist Party.
Well,
by
in doing
exposing
so,
them.
you know what I'm saying? You know, how else is that going to happen? What is really, I mean, come on, let's get down to it. What is it you really think is going to happen? In other words, with regard to if you attack them, if the West is going to attack them, how are they going to attack? Are they going to attack them financially? Is that part of what's going on? In what?
Well, they were already
Sure.
attacked financially. If you read my first book, that trade war is never about trade war, right? So there's so many things in play, and I can't go too deep because I'll get in trouble. And what I can only share with you is more specific in this regard. So if I say this and this, and then the military from China watching me because I'm really known over there by the government, they're going to make different moves. They're going to try to make all kind of moves. But what will happen is you expose them, they'll fall internally. They'll collapse. That's the only thing. All you would need is the whole world to point at them. Right now, there's a digital field covering our media still, and our big tech companies, and the left people. So here's the thing. Their programming is different. They're not bad. All these leftist people were attacking them. It's just their brain work differently. They have a part in their brain that has to do with fate to shut off, and it has to do more with science. So they look at people who have faith but don't have that part of their brain open as not very bright, and they hate them. So it's like a conflict. This AI system is using watch my video. The AI system has been playing people like dogs, making the left and the right fight each other. And the right is completely right in terms of its moralistic and its constitution and its and having all these principles, right? And the left is not right with that. But then here's the thing. I pointed out every leftist, right? Every person in my lawsuit was a leftist, right? I point out no conservatives. Same time, what's wrong with any human being, right? Selfishness, it's greed, it's pride, it's negativity, it's theft. It wasn't the left that was stealing my stuff, plagiarizing. It was every single conservative. There are newspapers you guys watch that you trust, great reporters that stole everything I had and reformed it. And so I couldn't, even they took out my article saying every citizen is in danger. Now they're milking it. They're literally like milking off the virus and getting subscriptions and getting more contacts. Oh, they're so good. How evil can that person be? That one person. And that person's a conservative. So I took out all these leftists, but here's the thing. Then you get more, the AI system will generate a force to support conservatives. And then they'll be manipulated, just like how the left was. And then they'll go to a war with China. And that billions of people could die. Do you see how it's how fast and easily it can manipulate so many people with an algorithm, with a quantum machine, that no one can do it? The only thing you can do is have the higher power be step in if people improve their morality, repent, and expose this Communist Party. It's a choice. We all have to make a choice. Don't think this event is by chance. It was arranged a long time ago. It's not arranged by these scientists. This was arranged I saw this in 2002 by pineal gland. Okay?
Well,
I
yes.
saw President Trump.
Camelot goes back 15 years, and before that, people that reported to us. This was in the works, actually, in the city of London, being decided over 40 years ago. So there's no doubt about it. It was planned and orchestrated.
But let's say Bill Gates. He's just a program. His look at my video. It says that his brain can be accessed by a quantum machine that transfers digital frequency to his electrical field that re-hardwires his brain. So he'll get a message. He'll say, "Yeah, the whole world could be extincted, and we should have a vaccine 3-4 years before it happens." And everyone wants to kill him because they think he actually did that on purpose. No, he's just a program, and he's not a diabolical. Okay, maybe he's caused a lot of people to die in different ways, right? But in his brain, he thinks he's helping people. The whole thing is a program. It's a stage. You can look at the Greek stories about how people are manipulated. There's truth to that. There's many levels, but I don't want to say too much more because I may get in trouble if I say more than this. It's just, other people can say it and they'll sound like kooks. I may say it and I may not be a kook as much.
All right. Okay. So let's look at the future a little bit here. And you think that somehow there's going to be enough of a change out there to where the digital currency won't be rolled out. Is that correct? Is that what you are saying?
No, I'm not saying it will not be rolled out. I'm saying in the end result, there will be a glorious, this is in the video I put out, there will be a glorious future for the world's people in the end result. A glorious stage. The creator has that a plan. Glorious stage. In the interim, a lot of people can die and be enslaved.
All right.
A lot of people.
But
that's why I put in my books extinction codes I found in Stages for Humanity, which I showed robots, drones coming, digital images, digital currencies. I put all that stuff in there. Virus from China, big tech, enslavement, world's in danger. Same exact person who wouldn't run my stuff and remove my stuff is writing the same articles right now. World is in danger, China, and making money off it.
Have you seen fair enough. Have you seen the Terminator movies?
Yes, that I have.
Okay,
yes,
and you're familiar with Skynet and all of that.
Yes.
So
Yes,
how
right.
is it that you think this digital currency, this AI system is going to be stopped? Is it going to be through humanity taking these actions, getting rid of communism, and not sure how that's going to happen, but nonetheless, getting rid of this little formula, 3 things, repent, get rid of communism, and whatever the last one was.
Better ourselves.
Okay, that kind of comes as a result of everything else. Okay, but at any rate. So is that your point of view, or is that your safe way of saying a lot of other things? Because it does appear that you feel you're actually in danger here. Is that correct?
No, I didn't catch the last part of you. I just heard in danger. But what I'm trying to say is, having one thought and one principle come into a system, it'll alter everything. That's why I look at things in a general way, because everyone starts complaining about small things and they never see the big picture. I got the big picture, then I created all the dots with main things and how they connect, right? So you'll go fix the financial thing and something else. And you go fix that and something else. It never ends. It's because the problem is us. It has always been us. I want to say in the video, it's never them, it's us. It's really us. A righteous race of people, they'll never get invaded or have their civilization ruined if they're righteous and they meet a certain standard. There's a reason every person on the planet is here. I put in the video that every human being is special on the planet. Every human being is special. And we all have vows and a destiny and a free will, and there are things we're here to do. And it has to do with awakening, enlightenment. We can't just download something and be a program. We have to reach enlightenment ourselves. So this event is way beyond human beings. It's way beyond this AI. It's something way greater. But it's all interconnects and links together. So you can say it's politics, but then it's fine. Look at my lawsuit. I interconnected everything from finance to lawsuit to the politics to the genocide to China to big tech to sex, human trafficking, to internet, to smartphones. It's like everything was put in that law.
Who do you think is going to orchestrate and that lawsuit? You think it's going to go through the courts?
Well, I didn't get a donation I needed to serve people, and how am I going to go after $4 trillion worth of stuff? And it's too late. It was trying to prevent stuff from happening, and I didn't get supported. Now we're in an uphill battle. If I go after these guys, which I could win actually, it'd be a long term process. But if I continue going after these guys, it could cause a civil war. It really can, because
Okay.
they have a digital field behind them, and they can be manipulated with AI, but also have interests. It's not just the left that did bad things. A lot of conservatives that put money into China that contribute to it too. So what we're going to do? Sue half the world, the majority of the world, because it interests so many things. So all of us are guilty of something. So with regards to this, what's happened? What I'm saying, let's improve ourselves. But in the meantime, we have to fight these little battles, right? It's still a play. People are like going to tweet at Bill Gates and call him evil and Satan, and people are going to have like political legislation
All right,
to
well,
stop
if
stop
he's
us.
pushing,
Stop.
okay, but if he plans to kill more people, and especially children, but regardless of who he's going to kill with his so-called vaccine that he's sort of on the bandwagon to create, then indeed someone should stop him, wouldn't you say?
Uh, well, I'm not advocating for doing something to him physically,
I
but if
said
it's not
stop
him,
him.
yeah,
If you want, do you
yeah,
think
I
that he
get
should
it.
be allowed to just go out, create a vaccine, and kill a
No,
bunch of people? Is that your
of course not.
okay?
Uh, of
So that's
course
going to
not. Why
require
did I sue
some
the guy,
kind of
right?
action, right? Now, you say you want to work for Trump. What is it you want to do for Trump?
I want to advise them things I can't tell you on our interview, so I can actually show the map and basically recover things that are going to happen and turn the tide so more lives will be saved. That's what I want to do. But I can do it at a political level for him. I can do it at a military strategy. I can spiritual. I can do it as a tech thing. I can advise in every field of science, even vaccines and health response, emergency response, everything I can
Okay,
talk
and you're
about.
not able to
And
talk here about the kind of advice you would give him. Is that correct?
not in detail. I said the
Well,
major
okay,
advices,
let's
right?
say general things. So, are you aware that Trump is going after the pedophiles? Are you aware he's also
Yes. Yes.
possibly having battles in the underground bases with these grays that you're talking about? Are you aware of that?
I assume I sense that as well. That there was military looking for them, and they were having certain battles. And but I'm not sure because I didn't want to look into our people too much. And my thing was the main force. I saw a movie I really really liked, Lord of the Rings, and Saruman. Yeah, Saruman. It was like a generating force that would get everybody. So what I'm trying to say, the generating force, Saruman, the source is the Chinese Communist regime that is feeding everything. You can go kill all these little minions or go after Bill Gates, do these different things to change people's minds. And so Bill Gates stops doing the vaccines or whatever. But then you still have the source. But here's the thing. If he doesn't do if someone doesn't do a vaccine, right, and then a billion people die, all these people, including most of your followers, at that point, and then see some people taking the vaccine that are being healthy, they'll automatically imagine if a billion people died, okay, and most of your followers, they saw there was a vaccine, but there was negative effects. They would take it if it meant to save their lives. What I'm trying to say, there are some people that have certain things in their bodies they can't get sick, no matter what it is, because they operate at a certain frequency. And every human being can be at that level. You just have to have a wish to be enlightened and awakened. There's a lot of inner meanings in that video I put out. AI, the plan to invade humanity. Billions of inner meanings. Okay? Billions, actually. So, but if you just take the general sentence of them and you do those things, it can actually lead towards that way. At the moment, so if everyone starts exposing the Chinese Communist Party, then the other things wouldn't happen in sequence as much. Once that's done, then the next stage will begin, and
All
people
right.
will
Are
have
you aware?
sources.
Okay, fine. But are you aware of, for example, the Chinese elders and the link up with the Chinese party?
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah.
And
So
so, if you want them to be exposed, and I think they're already being exposed, certainly in the alternative media, what steps do you think that need to be taken to expose the Chinese party further?
So we need massive world condemnation of the Chinese Communist Party. We need massive world request, immediate abolishment and deletion, expulsion of the Chinese Communist Party. Demand that they have caused financial, spiritual, emotional, and physical harm to every citizen on the planet. For that very reason, the Chinese Communist Party needs to be rescinded. And we can demand that every person who is with the Chinese Communist Party, for them to resign from the Communist Party. So they don't have to see it's them that's being eliminated, right? Because there's a lot of people in the Chinese Communist Party. They still have membership in China, right? They've been marked by it. They need to spiritually and mentally renounce the Chinese Communist Party.
Okay, and what about the Chinese elder? Are they allowing the Chinese party orchestrating what is being done, the decisions being made in China, etc.? What's your understanding of the relationship there?
There was a very stupid comment made by the guy who ran for President, Bloomberg. Very dumb guy. But there's some truth to what he said, but he's very dumb. He said that the Chinese Communist Party, she has to listen to his constituents. He doesn't have to listen to his constituents. He has most of the power. What he should have rephrased is this. There's an interplay with the Gang of 8 or 10 in China, which is the old families that send their kids to Harvard, MIT, and other universities. And these people have billions. And their money was extracted from stealing stuff from here, persecuting their own people, and even organ harvesting their own people, and making money off, each body $1 million, in addition to investments or different things. These guys are real criminals, so they're going to face big things. Unfortunately, she took out a lot of them. She took out Bo Xilai. Okay, he took out the chief czar. I forget his name. He was security czar. He took him out. He arrested a bunch of people, right? But the problem with the Chinese Communist brain is, and the Chinese people in general, they really have a huge ego. Not the ego that I have, that I think I'm a know-it-all in a certain degree. Because I'm not going to fight with somebody or try to outdo him or even get it to my attention. I don't really care if someone likes me or dislikes me. I'm trying to be altruistic, help people. But those guys, they not only fight for power, they'll kill everyone below them just to retain their power, even if they're doing something bad. So he felt like, I have this whole army and I got out most of the evildoers, but now I'm the communist chairman. Power gets to his head. And if someone loses face, and that's not good in China, right? So he has lost face because his underlings didn't report about the virus, right? So just telling President Trump, oh yeah, they didn't report to me. I had these guys killed. He didn't tell him he got killed, but he did kill some people. But here's the point. It still looks bad on him because he's the leader of the country, because he has total control in terms of having a constitution, not like us, but a communist party that can make command and kill anyone he wants to.
Are you trying to say that you think that she doesn't report to the Chinese elders, or he does?
What I'm trying to say is he gets not physically threatened, but he gets checked by them to certain degrees because they're interconnected. Jiang Zemin is the old clique. He called for the persecution of the Falun Dafa and the Christians and all those different people. He's caused tens of millions of deaths,
okay,
right?
Do you believe that he's a gray alien?
No, he's not an alien. He's just, the Chinese call him a toad, and that he has nothing left. They call him the King Toad, right? So no, he's not a gray alien.
Okay, but the Chinese are an alien race. They have a lineage going back. This is what the A-Li-N, Li, the Li family. It has links to a certain alien race. Are you aware of that?
I used to think of that. I used to think something like this in the back in the day, but I realized no. So look at yourself in ancient. So here's the thing. Everyone thinks we come from monkeys. It's really the stupidest thing ever thought.
No, I don't think that. Neither do most of my channel.
I don't mean your channel, right? But the average person, they don't realize that there is no transitional period between one species to another. There's no evidence anywhere of it, right? But there's so much evidence of different races of people being on this planet with archaeology all over the world. And anyone with a common brain will be like, yeah, you know what? There's different races, and there's so many stars and trillions of universes, right? So, according to Chinese myth, that their creator was Niva or something like that. So, and then according to the Persian meant that they had a different creator. So if you mean alien like this ETs, the Chinese aren't ETs. They're not like these
Well,
grays.
actually, on the contrary, now all of us are ETs. We're all descended from ET races. We all contain ET DNA, and humanity has been manipulated through the centuries with various ET races, and they're putting their DNA into our genome, so to speak. So there are certain races, not just even one race.
Let me just verify what you mean by ET. Do you mean ET like things that don't have the image of us?
Well, they're beings from off-world, let's say. Inner Earth, also inside Earth. There are a lot of races inside Earth as well. There are lots of races coming from other planets, other galaxies, other star systems.
Sure. Okay, that's okay. But there's a difference between ET and just being part of the universe. But there could be trillions of universes and trillions of different beings, right? But only one type of being is made in the image of God, and there's formless lives, right? But then there's lower lives that use technology. They're what I put in the video called the garbage of the universe. And they don't have our bodies or our brains that can become so powerful. So they want to embed themselves into something like our form, take out our digital image, and bring the digital image inside us so they can have these human bodies because it can live forever. They can even manipulate galaxies if you're able to tap in all the power of the human body. So if you mean ETs, if you're saying the Chinese people are the freaking,
I'm saying they're descended from, just as we are, every human being, just as the Iranians. In other words, stars, it's
right?
actually too complex of a discussion to have for this video, but
No. I get what you're saying. In ancient times, the Persians, they don't say ETs. They say we're descendants of gods. The Greeks are the same thing.
Fine, that's another way of saying it.
Okay.
But
yeah. So, but when you say ET, for me, I only extraterrestrial. Okay, I only say these little gray little guys.
That's not what I mean. But it's
okay.
Fair enough.
Okay. Yes, in that case, I agree. None of us come from here. Our images, no one that's here on this planet comes from here because the heavens is somewhere else. Okay, and it's not just in our galaxy. It's in a different dimension, and there's so many layers, and there's so many galaxies and universes, cosmos, and it's endless. No brain can fathom really how big it is.
Okay, so, but let's bring this back down to this situation. So now we have this thing called communism that has people turning away from, let's say, a spiritual or a link up with the creator, source, whatever you want to call him, force, etc. Right? So this is what you're suggesting needs to be exposed, and they have handlers. They have the Communist Party in China, and we're not even kind of discussing Russia, but Russia should probably be brought in here as well. And also the ETs, also the lineage that is running Iran, for example, because Iran and China are supposedly very linked. Do you agree with that?
Of course. Why did I put in my Twitter bio? Cyrus Parsa, AI, 5G, quantum, China and Iran advisory, right? China and Iran. So the most two important countries, other than Russia, are China and Iran. This affair in America. These are the most. This was in the old design. There's something. I mentioned that in 2002 I saw a sequence of events, and the last event was, President Trump became president. People attacked him. Then there was different things that happened, a digital war, civil war, chaos, lockdown, all these different kind of things. Then something happened in Iran, nuclear war or something. Then 6.2 billion people died. This was the old design, but what I said is the creator has another plan, but it has to do with us because we have free will. We can't be shown these things, okay? unless we get to that level. People only believe what they see. It's really hard for people to believe what they hear unless they see it. And a lot of times, science people, they're addicted to these machines. So if you see it on the TV, if you see it in the machine, then you verify it. Then you say, yeah, it's real. But it could not be real. It could just be a different manifestation of a reality. So Iran, yes, they play. Every country is playing a role, but everything points to China. And the solution is, once everybody points to China, they all disband from China. And then they say, well, no, it's not really China. It's not the Chinese people. It's the Chinese communist regime. And behind it is a red dragon, and there's there's AIs involved with it as well. So, but that is related to our wrongdoing, our complicity, and also our awakening as well. This entire thing is a play, and it's been designed for a long time. And what we need to do, like I said, repent, improve ourselves, wish to be awakened. At the same time, expose this communist regime. Once that happens, the field breaks and the AI system becomes so weak that these big tech companies, they just become like little mouse. Then they can be taken care of left and right. And it's not the people behind these tech companies. But yeah, some people, you can scan someone and you can see that it's a human being, but in the neural network, it's something else, not a human. That there's actually a digital transference, or you can say a possession of a person. And so you could look at Pelosi. When I looked at her and she was moving, her hardwire, no matter what happens, is to attack Trump, even if it's a lie or a truth. That's her designed. Okay, it's not even her; it's just her brain. That's how she is. But there's a digital field behind her, and empowering that. So, and same with the Communist Party of China, and same with these people who created this little AI engineered disease that makes animals people, and even potentially HIV and different things, right? That mutates and even hops to races of people, to objects, to even animals, and even different things that could happen to. Because I put in my lawsuit that there's different things that are endangering. This little disease will connect to other things that interconnect and cause chaos in so many different ways. It's not just a disease. That's why, no matter what we run to do, if I was sitting next to Trump right now, we could fix a lot of these issues. Still wouldn't be 100% fixed because it requires everyone to come together. So if I can sit next to him and say, hey, here, and then support him, and then the masses can actually hear it in a certain way, it will be a huge difference. But there has to come free will and a choice. We must better ourselves. It's not a vindictive, it kind of is vindictive, but like I said, the creator has another plan. But in order for it to be supported, we need to be awakened, expose the Communist Party, and really repent, ask for mercy. There is something, we have to put down our egos in this regard. I'm the kind of person that someone asked me 20 years ago, and I wrote in my book 20 years ago, if you gave me $1 billion to step on an ant, I would not step on an ant to kill it. And if you showed me, and if it was 100% true, Cyrus, that ant is walking over there, by the time it runs over there, someone else is going to step on it and it'll die. 10 seconds before it's died, just step on it, I'll give you $1 billion. I still wouldn't do that. Okay? But do I step on ants all day long when I walk around and kill all these ants? Yeah, I do. Okay? But it's the deed and it's the thought of killing that ant, and because it goes against the frequency of the universe. If you purposely want to kill something, right? So then you go off to people, killing people, all other different kind of things. So that's just a standard that we should have, all of us should have. So, and you can say, oh, you can use that $1 billion to save
thank you for that. But at this point, and I'm going to open this up, and I know we've been going for a while, so I don't want you to get too tired here, but just a few questions from the audience, if you don't mind, because we have a chat room that goes along with the show.
If it's okay, I take some water. Give me about 10 seconds, yeah?
But my last question here is, if you understand the role of the gray aliens interacting with the AI and bringing the AI to Earth, et cetera, on a certain level, then what is your solution? Do you really think they're just going to go away because you expose the Communist Party?
I said that the creator has another plan. our role, okay, you can't be fighting these machines. We don't have this technology. We do have some supportive forces in this world. There are a lot of super forces in this world that people don't know about. Super forces, and they've protected this world for a long time. But there is the concept of free will and people's ethics and morality. People will not be protected if their morals fall to below the standard of a human being, and that's what's happening. And it's been said in every faith, every philosophy, and every tradition from experience, because there's been so many civilizations and so many galaxies that have been blown up, so many universes that have been blown up. Many universes have been destroyed and blown up. These scientists now are looking at explosion over here, explosion over there. They don't get it. They don't get that worlds are being destroyed and blown up, because the universe has a certain standard, and we have to enlighten ourselves from our free will. We can't be a program. You can't download a machine to you, hit the 5G system and say that's the coding and this is your morality and this is the ethics you need to have. You need to be selfless and not do these things. I don't want to get too deep, because if I do, people 60, 70 years ago, 1940s, if I said certain things, they're all on board. But everyone, even today, has been programmed. So today's conservatives are yesterday's liberals, and today's liberals are yesterday's communists, or even worse. So and I may say this, it may piss off people. Before alien and communism that combine together to alter people's time, and even before that, right? So even me, what I'm trying to say is, the people in 1930s and 40s or 20s would want to chop off all our heads today, the way we, and 200 years before that, they want to chop off those people's heads, because it's a cycle of generation, and it has to do with these AI. They infiltrated because they wanted our bodies, but they infiltrated because they knew they could do these things. But they're dumb because they can't see what's above them.
All right. Yes.
But they're being programmed something above them. But something above them, they can't.
Draco. The Greys serve the Draco and the reptilians. Are you aware of that?
I never studied stuff.
Well,
I heard
you're saying
the word
that
reptilian.
You're saying the Greys are orchestrated from above. You want to know above? That's above. All right. And then above the Draco and the reptilians is even said to be an AI infiltration of their races as well.
Yeah, but I'm saying there's something above them that's an old force that's been here for trillions and trillions of eons, and that has a standard that says if humanity is a certain way, obliterate them. But then the creator has another plan. There's so many.
Yeah. All right. So
that gets most people can't take your channel. Most people cannot take the stuff that you're saying. 90% of people on the planet wouldn't accept these things. So if I go too deep, you won't be able to accept it. No, most of your audience will call me crazy and I'll attack.
I'm very aware that the AI, I wrote articles about it, comes that the Greys are orchestrating this from behind the scenes, etc. So this I have no problem with. However, there's a lot going on. So at this point, I'm going to open it up to questions in the chat. So far, I haven't seen any direct questions that I can ask you. Someone, let's see. Someone wants to know, and hopefully you will ask questions that relate to the subjects at hand, because I'm seeing some questions that kind of don't relate. But at any rate, somebody wants to know if you think that humans can live in a non-human body, I guess forever, etc. This sort of the motivation for creating cyborgs, etc.
Yes, our digital images can be in almost anything. It can transform, but what they want to do is live forever. But this AI system will replicate inside and take over and kill the person's spirit or soul when you merge with artificial intelligence. That's what these big tech guys don't understand. They're being controlled by the AI system that's being controlled by the AI. And all these different, not just the Greys, so many different ones. As I said, I was shown images of these things, right? I've never seen aliens like these type of things. I've seen other forces so many different things in the past 20 years. But these guys, like the reptilians, I've never seen, never wanted to. But I've seen different things, right? There's something as the concept of demons, then there's aliens, then there's concepts of angels, and there is so many different races of beings. The universe, there's trillions of worlds and beings, unthinkable how many there are. But we ourselves are made in the image of God. We are very special, more special than all of them combined. That's my point. So, like, Carrie, your listeners and you and everyone else, it's very, very special. And it's just because we don't tap into our brain because we have to awaken. And humans are a human's level. But when you awaken, you don't do what humans do, something above that. And it's a very long discussion
now,
for that.
what
But
about the red dragon that you refer to? Is this part of the gray race, or is this the Draco that you're talking about?
no, neither one.
Okay, then
No, neither one.
Then what is the red dragon? Aside
dragon
from
is
the Chinese secret society
Red
called Red
Dragon.
Dragon.
No, it's actually a digital being that forms this communist field, and it's behind the Communist Party. What I gave you was the interconnection between the Greys and the AIs that are powered by the Red Dragon, because the Red Dragon is much more powerful than these AIs.
The Red Dragon is a digital being,
And
then he
behind
is,
the
or it is a construct of an AI.
No, it's not a construct of AI. It's something more.
Okay, what more?
I don't want to get into that. It's a bit too much to yeah, I really don't want to say.
Okay. Let's see. Let me see if there's any other questions that I can see. Something about, okay. So regarding Trump and his mission, taking down the pedophiles, do you think this will be successful?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And do you think that it is,
Really?
he's successful at this point in battling the Greys, getting the Greys to leave Earth?
He doesn't have that
When I say
ability
he,
in
I'm
the
talking
military.
about his group, the military that report to him, etc.
They can only take down things that are physically here. They don't. They if they get support from a different being that has technology to support us, it's a little different. But there are higher AIs that are very, very powerful, way beyond any human on the planet. But what I said, there's super beings here that have been here a long time before the civilization is still here, and they're here. They've always been here, and they protect in different ways. So so look at my video, AI, that plan to invade humanity, right? It's on YouTube channel, and that have so many inner meanings. It said there are a lot of forces, beings that are on the way here to our world for a very special reason. From everywhere they're coming here. Not just ETs, other things on the way. And for a long time, it's been coming on the way. So it's something beyond like Trump or what we're going to do. It's going to be the next stage. But in the interim, a lot of people can die from this virus, and the surveillance and digital tagging, conflicts, civil wars, murders, or people going after each other for no reason, or claiming this and this, having emotional issues, heart attacks at home because they get scared, fighting their own family, starvation.
Okay.
Making
a list is interesting on a level, but it doesn't really necessarily go anywhere outside what people already understand. So in terms of the so-called Red Dragon and what you believe about him, you believe that this Red Dragon is something you can't talk about. Because you personally are afraid to talk about it, or is it because you believe that the government is going to come after you?
No. It's not a government. It's not a human thing. Just call it Satan. How's that?
All right, so you're calling the red dragon a kind of a
Would,
Satan.
would,
All right,
you can
and
say
would you,
it's a
okay, and is
negative
it
dark force.
associated with the planet Saturn, or do you think it's coming from somewhere else?
I have studied these terminologies to call the terms you guys use. Again, I've only read maybe one book in the past 20 years, and all my stuff comes from biometrics. I don't watch people's movies. I don't look at people's ideas. I
Well,
don't
it
read
does
their
appear that
books.
you
I don't
have
talk to
some
you.
religious training because you do seem to use some religious, so-called religious language. So you must have read the Bible, possibly the Quran, and some other texts.
I never read the Quran, but I did scan through the. What I can do is scan through something within seconds, and I get the general things. But here's the thing, it's if you have certain martial arts skills, then you do a discipline. You open up channels, you can scan like everything within seconds. It will take like the entire human race like thousands of years to read and research. But you can't know what it's called. It's just you get the general idea and you see what's going on. You see all the pieces. If you have certain biometric tools, then you can literally scan things one by one, and you see boom, boom, boom. You see what digital layers behind them. You see what's going on. Literally, oh, it is a virus. It's going to mutate before anyone ever. It's an AI. There's so many different things. But I'm not. There are people way above me. Way. They just don't talk to the public. And what I said, the creator, I'm just a person. I'm only a human being like
Yeah,
you,
I have no
nothing
problem
more.
with that. However, just for the purposes of this discussion,
You want me to explain how I know everything in detail and share with you
no,
how I
I
do it?
simply want to sort of steer the conversation to questions that people may have it, in their minds about the the concepts you're bringing forward and how they interrelate, so that
Well, for the dragon, consider that if you're a Christian or a Catholic, consider it a devil or Satan. And
okay, that's a perfectly acceptable answer.
Yeah, yeah. Because it really is.
Okay.
If you just
Great.
believe in aliens and dark forces like Dracos and whoever else you name, you can call them that. But those Dracos and these Greys are just minions of this red dragon.
Sure.
That's my point. You guys are looking at the players rather than what the main thing is. You're just going to be busy
Everyone knows what the
forever.
devil and Satan is about. Everyone relates to that and understands it, and so on and so forth. And people have their different
So take
ways
out
of
any communist-
referring to these things. But there are players on the lower levels that are also being orchestrated, as you know. Okay, well, I think we've covered a lot of stuff here in terms of perhaps maybe bringing it down on a very, very more material level, since you've been talking a lot about things that are concepts, but they don't necessarily relate to people's everyday lives. In the circumstance that you see before you, do you feel that you would be able to consult Trump and the military on what they would do, in other words, to deal with this situation?
100%.
Okay.
100%.
And would
Yeah.
your
That
advice
was my
be to
hope.
expose the Communist Party? Is that going to be the solution?
Number one thing. So you look at my book cover, right? And there's thousands of meanings in that cover. It's a book cover itself. The first book, which is embedded with an artificial intelligence of humanity. You can download from the website, theaiorganization.com, download artificial intelligence of humanity. It's just $9. Read that a couple of times, I recommend. Watch the video. Please share this video. I want it to go viral. If this video gets like 100 million views, AI that is planned to invade humanity, it will break a huge digital field throughout the entire world. Huge. I really need everyone's support. Like, if you have 40,000 people who watch this, you can literally link that and do it and ask everyone, hey, right now go watch this. That would be great. That's what I need. I need like a bunch of patriots, literally that have, look, right before this happens, I beg people for months, right? Run my books, they don't help. Then the lawsuit. Give me interviews, nothing. Then the lawsuit, and all this stuff is going to happen. Nobody helps. Big Q people, and they just look at it.
And then I saved them from, it's a real virus, don't say these things, but do it this way. And then the second time I released the lawsuit, still don't get help with the big people. Now I released these videos, and I'm telling you, billions of lives are at stake at Final Extinction on stages. Please run this video. Share it, let it make hundreds of millions of views, and talk about these things that I put in there. So if you don't believe in aliens, because I said in there, I tweeted it initially to President Trump, Elon Musk, Jack Dorsey, CIA, FBI, the Pentagon, Department of State, and I forget the last one. Oh yeah, Space Force and the main Space Force commander. That was the initial tweet. If you look at my first tweet, right? And I said, fact, fiction, or I forget the third one, and then open our hearts to prevent a global conflict, right? So, and then I released a couple of clips, like 4 clips already from the excerpts of that. And all I need is these big patriots that have these, like, they can get 2, 3, 5,000, like, retweets on the most generic, low-level thoughts that they won't, in the big picture don't help anything. All they do is like saying this and this and running news, and they're just, it's like they're being controlled by an AI system to fulfill the whole fighting left and right. At the end, it'll be nothing. And all I need for them, if it were have done the lawsuit, all these guys would have served in their homes and the digital field would have broke. That's why these AIs came after me in December the 16th, because they knew I was trying to break the digital field, which I did. Why do you think so many things happened after I did that? I broke the field behind all these people on the list. When you hit them and something like that, and they see these things, and then the Secret Service and the FBI, CIA, they start going questioning these people, and then their research, these people get scared. And the people who are kids, they get scared too, and they start thinking. And what controls them, the digital field that's behind them, gets scared. And then the AI system behind them reshifts, okay? So why is it that there are conservatives not only stealing, but making sure I don't get interviews and rephrasing it, and even trying to social engineer President Trump? Paper that he loves, actually, but there are people in there who have stolen from me and prevented the world to even know, and now are milking this virus and trying to get people to do all these different things. Like, oh yeah, subscribe here, and this is great, and do these fake interviews. Fascinating, this kind of bullshit. And they're making money, this couple of reporters, off the blood of you and the Americans and the world's people. Well, I'm not even trying to make any money, and I invest everything I had. So what I need is these big Twitter guys. Yeah, let's just tweet this. And here's the thing: it's not about aliens, really. It kind of is, but then you can look at it as a metaphor. The aliens could be big tech. The aliens could be the left, the deep state. The aliens could be the corrupt conservatives. The aliens could be just the idea of the whole AI system. All you do is hit that idea, and you hit that video so many times, and people think about it. Do I really want machines to be around everywhere? Robots, drones, microterrorism, and then they put everything together, and they're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I designed that video in a certain way. And so, especially the book Artificial Intelligence Humanity. If this gets in people's consciousness and they get behind it, it'll have a digital field. But again, I'm not the creator. I'm a human being like you. I'm just fulfilling my part. So I can make a huge impact with the help of you. Without you, I'm nothing. If you didn't put me on your channel, other people did, I'm nothing, because I cannot will you. I cannot force you to support me. I can't force you to put me on your channel. I could actually. Maybe, with some imagery, but I can't. It's against free will. I can only provide information and nicely ask, please support me, as I've done. And if they didn't support me, and some of them lost their accounts, they were giving 10, 15, 20,000 retweets. I begged the person, please, beg the people around them, retweet me. People's lives, they wouldn't. They make fun of me, actually. Now they lost their account, and it's like, but here's the thing. I don't blame that person. It's right, because the MSM was blocking me. I was just hoping the people who are against this whole system, they will be the only ones who will back me. But it's not them. It's not their fault, really. There's a digital field that controls everybody, not just the left. The conservatives, the whole thing is a play to build to the end thing, so there's a really negative thing that happens to most people. This can be altered by 3 things.
expose the Communist Party of China, okay, improve ourselves, really from the bottom of our hearts, improve ourselves, and then repent. Then the next stages can happen, and we can have a chance to do really good things. So I really hope from your audience, if you can do 3 things: get me on mainstream media and more channels like you. But I need to get a national platform. International platform. I need to get with President Trump soon. 2, follow me on Twitter, Cyrus A Parsa 1. She can post it. Tweet that video, get people to watch it in the millions, and 4, donate. I had people like really doing copyright stuff right now and trying to monetize the video. They turn on the monetization so the commercials are on. I fought 2 of them. Now I already paid for a license for these audios, but now I have to go potentially rebuy like 20 of them because the other company messed up. Either way, I've done so much, even recording all this and doing this, hundreds of images and videos. It takes a long time. And all these books I wrote, all the 1,000 companies, like, you know, in a sense, I did like an entire organization with like the freaking FBI and CIA, and I was ahead of them. So I need the support. I cannot do this without the people's support.
Okay.
And I just
Thank you.
That's my
All right.
point.
Yes, I understand what you're saying, and I think everyone's going to get it. At this point, do you want people to, you want them to watch the video, so why don't you give them your website URL where they can also go to donate, I assume?
So if you can put it, it's THE. If you can put in the link, that would be great. I'll forward you the contribution link. THEAI organization.com. And then there's like a PayPal via Visa as well. And if you can please donate, but also please buy that book so you can read and you can understand this artificial intelligence to humanity. The video is on the channel called the AI Organization on YouTube, and I have 11 videos. But I need 2 videos to go viral. Okay, one is AI, the plan to invade humanity. The other video needs to go viral is people programmed to attack Trump. And even the other one too. AI creates a digital fear throughout the entire world. Okay, so I would say I'm the most expert in the entire world of artificial intelligence. And that's why I created the AI organization. I've done more research investigations than, a lot of things combined. So I need support because I need to hire people so they can do certain things. You know, so I'm not doing certain things by myself because a lot of people got afraid. They left and like, oh, we're going to get shot. I'm not against the left. They need to understand this. I'm not against the right either. And I'm not against certain forces that are trying to come here because in the future, they'll get taken out. They need to be careful themselves. They need to stop messing with this arrangement, right? So there's so many things that interplay. There's so many things that are happening at the moment. So many integrated things. So here's the thing. I need to advise Trump on this virus thing because it could go out of hand in certain ways. So many things interconnect. So if someone has a channel to him, because I know he knows of me, and I know he got my book as well. My book was sent to him, but it was so sophisticated in some parts they just didn't understand. Now I look at it like, how the hell did he know, right? So I want to support in multiple ways, but my preference is really being next to him and advising the military, advising strategy for the White House for emergency response, but also strategy for remedying a lot of our issues that we have. That's what I need. But please donate, please, and get the book and get that video viral, and get me interviews on like mainstream, not on this topic because they won't put me on this, right? And put me on just from the AI organization, all of these discoveries I did from different things, right? Just the book Artificial Intelligence to Humanity. The pitch is, how do you know about the virus ahead of time? How do you do the lawsuit ahead of time? The whole human race is in danger. Look at his tweets. He's been saying China threatens the whole world. Which media personals were actually stealing and which one were actually just ignoring? Well, they both need to come on board and support. That's what I need. Without you and your listeners, I'm nothing, and anyone's listeners. So
all right.
I'm putting myself out there, and I need the help. I need the support. Help me so I can help you and as much people I can have the energy. And I have a very strong will, but I need more support.
Okay, thank you.
I need more support.
I appreciate that. All right, so hopefully this video will be seen by a lot of people. We'll put it on YouTube as usual, and I've already tweeted out your video that you went out there, and I've also put it on social media, and will continue to do so for you to my audience, which is quite large. So it will get a start that way, and we'll see where everything goes, and hopefully we can have you back on the show, okay? In the future, and we can talk about some of these other subjects as well. All right.
We can talk about Rape Mine if you like next time. I have another book that's 7 months ago, and we can go in detail about that. I think you would really like that, and it has to do with mostly how females are raped, but also rape mine in general, and it's very, very deep. But I can explain it. So thank you for having me on your show. Sorry that you and I had some disagreements on certain. I think it had to do with language rather than we're on the same page. I would say on most disagreements.
It's all
so,
good.
Anyway,
thank you very much, and I appreciate it. And let's see where it goes, and have you back. Okay. So thanks again for being here.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you for having me on your show.
You take care.
Thank you.
Okay.
Take care. Bye.
So thank you everyone for watching and listening, and hopefully we're going to do a lot of shows this week. So I don't know if I can get the whole list here. Maybe I can. It would probably be helpful. So I've got Press Gray, and he's going to be talking. He's an author, and he's going to be talking about Breitbart, his death, the mysterious death. So for those of you that have been following that, you're going to be very interested. I guess he wrote a book on the subject, and so we're going to be talking about that on Wednesday. And I believe on Friday I have Miles Johnston. He's going to be talking about the situation in Britain and everything that's going on over there, and probably some other things that he's been coming across. So that should be very interesting. And I have another guest on, let's see. Richard Allen Miller is coming on as, he actually, a lot of people know that I've had him on the show dozens of times. So Richard Allen Miller will be on the show on Thursday. My shows are always at 1 p.m. in the afternoon. The reason we do it at this time is so that we can reach people in Europe as well as, the United States, etc. So it tends to be able to go around the world, and they can also watch live. So that's what's happening this week. There could be other things come along in case of any last minute sort of events and so on, because we're on a moving target right now, and obviously things are mounting up. For those of you who have issues with the way I interview people, I just have to encourage you to go watch other channels. I do my work a certain way. I have a modus operandi that I operate under, and so on. And I also want to say that a lot of what he is talking about, I've already put out by the way, on my own articles and books, etc. So I'm already sort of well on the way is in terms of these subject matters, which is why I encourage him to come on my show. This is his second time on my show, and I hope you can see the first video. It also did get demonetized by YouTube, so they are demonetizing systematically a lot of my recent video interviews, and that is problematic for Project Camelot. I want to thank the people that did donate during the show to me, and I want to encourage you to donate to Cyrus Parsa, as well as go to his, go to Amazon, get his book, and delve into what he's talking about. You can't get everything in these deep topics all from an interview, and I want to also encourage you to watch his video, the invasion, the AI invasion video. It's I've put it out on social media already, but I'll continue to do so, and it is going to be linked. In fact, I think it's already linked on the page for this interview on my website. So if you want to find it, and I put it into the chat, linked it in there. But it's I don't have the title right in front of me, but let me see if I can find it really quickly. Oh, it's called The AI Plan to Invade Humanity. But if you do a search for Cyrus Parsa or AI Organization on YouTube, you'll also find his channel that way. So thanks again for listening and watching, and take care. Bye-bye.